Do you find prayer something that is easy for you, or is it more of a struggle? Do you tend to have a very consistent time of prayer, or is it something that ebbs and flows depending upon whether or not something is challenging you? What prompts you to pray? Is it more of a specific need, or is it more of a matter of desiring fellowship with God? What do you pray for when you pray? Do you find yourself praying for the same things over and over? Like, I don't think I've ever met a Christian, and definitely including myself, who has ever professed to have arrived in their prayer life. And so let's see what Jesus says about prayer in Matthew 7. And we're going to read 7 through 11. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be open. Which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone, or if he asks for fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? So the first thing we are encouraged to do is to ask. So we must first come. Now there are a couple reasons why we don't come, and therefore why our prayer lives are short-circuited right out of the gate. Hebrews 4:16 says that we can come to God, to the throne of God, to find grace in our time of need. So perhaps one of the reasons that we shy away from coming in our prayer life is that we feel guilty about certain things. And yet the merit by which we come is not our own. We come confidently to the throne of God because of grace. Second, another reason why we don't come to God in prayer is because we don't always plan to come. These promises of Jesus to receive, to find, and to have the door open seem to assume that someone is coming to God in prayer. So I have found it for me personally that if I don't have a plan for regular coming to God in prayer, then my prayer life will be driven by how dire my need is. And that becomes the catalyst for my coming rather than intentional time. The second thing we see in this passage is that our Father loves to give good gifts to those who ask him. So as we come in prayer, we are coming to the one whose character is generous and kind. So what type of view do you have of God's character? Is it generous and kind? Now don't get me wrong, generous and kind don't necessarily mean carte blanche any more than a 2-year-old coming to one of his parents and asking for something is carte blanche. But that's just it, right? As we come expectantly because of our Father's character, knowing that he delights to give good gifts. Now, perhaps some of us have been discouraged from praying because we have seen certain things not answered the way we had hoped. And I want to encourage us not to allow that to be a barrier for our prayer lives. There could be numerous reasons that we'll never know for why certain prayers aren't answered the way we had anticipated, but it is not because God's character is questionable. So the last thing we'll look at, and it's implied, is that we are little children who are in need. We are in need of things, which I'll call horizontal stuff, but we are also in need of God himself, which I'll call vertical stuff. And because we need both, it doesn't make sense to allow our prayer lives only to be driven merely by the things we need. When we pray, a much greater need is being met, and that's a relational need. We were made to commune with God, and prayer is an avenue in which that longing is fulfilled. Now you might be thinking, well, that sounds great, but I don't even know where to start. And so I just want to give you one encouragement to really kind of expand the language of your prayer. And that is simply this: tie your regular prayer time to your regular Bible reading time, and then simply use the language of what you're reading as a language for prayer. That has helped me immensely and has just expanded the way that I can pray for others, and it's helped increase my excitement to pray because it doesn't feel like I'm constantly praying for the same things over and over. And so we must come, we must trust God's character, and we must see our need.